services, whether it's going into some sort of trade or going into a college or university, then the other result is they are highlighted in an article about ex-offenders being re-engaged back into society. That's in its simplest.
How can we move forward to do that? Give us some strategies. We got a group of people here who are revved up. How can we get these people involved in making this happen? I guess that's the kind of question to the panel. Yeah, I mean, investment. Investment. How can we move forward around investment in after school?
Well, go ahead, Gary.
Basically, each and every one of us has to be an advocate. We cannot sit back and wait for somebody else to do anything. We have to do it on our own. Even though we're one voice, when you start adding those voices up, it makes a big difference. If you want something to be active in, right now President Bush is trying to cut 21st century money by $300 million, which will be a huge cut to every state in the union. Write your congressman, write your senator, and ask them to not approve that. That's a huge budget cut for 21st century funds. And the reason you got to be an advocate for after school is you may never get 21st century grant. You may never apply for the grant. The problem is, though, that as advocates, we got to all come together across the board, no matter where we are, and be the advocate for an after-school program, knowing very well those monies support a lot of good programs and do a lot of good benefits for kids across the United States, and certainly in the state of Missouri. The other thing is what your local government, whether they be governors or city council or whoever, constantly go to. This is a great time to start getting involved with because it's an election year. Go to those discussion groups, and when I ask the audience like we are today, what's your question for the candidates? Ask them about after school. See what they would think about after school, and you'll get some good answers. You also get some puzzled looks. But if you don't offer the opportunity for them to question what in the world is after school and why are they bringing it up in an election, that is never going to get any place. It's never going to get any bigger. It's never going to get any broader. The other thing is what your state legislature, your representatives and your senators, they need to know what you're doing. You need to send them something on a monthly, if not maybe even on a weekly basis, to your legislators. Let them know what's going on in your programs. Here's what happened last week. Here's some good things that happened last week. Here's a session coming up next week we're going to invite you to come to. So often people think that you've got to be an advocate or a lobbyist, or want to say that, only when they're in session. Let me tell you, the best time to contact your legislators is when there's no session. Because you know where they are? They're back home in your communities. Invite them out to your programs. Invite them out with their spouses. Very seldom do they ever get invited any place with their spouse. And who sits next to that legislator 24 hours a day is their spouse. Convince them. Convince those individuals that after school is important and it's necessary and it's critical. And then you can go back to them and ask them that once you can get them involved in this whole aspect. And I tell you, it sounds like, well, I can't do anything. My legislator hates after school. He told me that or she told me that. Don't give up on it. Don't stop. One of the things we did 4 years ago on a statewide level was we went to the campaign offices of the two governors' campaigns are running. 80% of the people in the state thought that the incumbent was going to win, without a doubt. Why even mess with trying to talk to the other candidate? And the point I'm trying to make to you is that you can't give up on anything or anybody. Governor Blunt came in as a very young governor, had no kids when he first came to office. His aspirations, most people's aspirations of having him being involved in after school were just about nil. Everybody, in particular at that level, has big issues to deal with. I mean, they're dealing with multi-million-dollar issues, multi-million-dollar crises, multi-million-dollar faces that they have to deal with on a regular basis. You're just coming to them with another issue. But you have to be an advocate so that you can prove your point. Governor Blunt was the only governor ever in our history to mention after school in a State of the State address, twice. First time ever happened. We got a $10,000 grant from the National Governors Association to do one summit on after school, how we wanted to do it, and the governor had to be involved in it. The governor did 4 summits in one day. He flew, took his own plane, flew to 4 cities and did 4 in one day, and he did 2 after. He did 6 summits. It took none of our money, none of the grant money. We used it basically to buy certain materials and then we handed out to the people in the groups. But what I'm saying to you is don't give up. Don't think that it's not going to happen. Then he went so far as to help, and we assisted in the development after-school